I think this is probably the most important developmental opportunity of the 21st century. We Madisonians have been thinking about this lakefront and how it should be designed for more than 100 years. And there are lots of exciting ideas that those historical lunges can provide for the project we're now talking about. Many have had ideas, big plans about how it should be developed. But the plan that had the greatest impact on the history of the city of Madison is a man named John Nolen, who came out here from Boston in 1909. He was the preeminent urban planner in the United States of America. And Madison wowed him. He said, "Oh my goodness, what a beautiful city you have here in potential." And then he began to tell Madisonians some things they didn't want to hear. "You have one of the most beautiful lakefronts in the world, but look what you've done to it," he said. "You have 4 ugly railroad tracks along the most important urban part of your city. It's dangerous for people to go from the Capitol Square to the lakeshore." So what Nolen proposed resonates throughout the history of this beautiful city. And it is this. He said the single most important goal should be to make it possible for a person to go from the Capitol Square to a beautiful lakefront park and to be able to do it safely, conveniently, and beautifully. The causeway is a key part of this puzzle. How it is designed is very important. It was built, by the way, in 1967, and it was built because city leaders wanted a way for people to get from the new interstate highway into the city of Madison. A few ideas from a man named William Wesley Peters, who was a chief architect for Frank Lloyd Wright. Right over here in this area that we're looking at, he said, "Look, we need to have space so that pedestrians and bicyclists can have the space they need."
In late 1966, the filling of the causeway began. Again, the hydraulic dredge was placing sand on the causeway, and they were doing it in lifts over time. It's going to be the biggest challenge in this project is fitting everything we want on that causeway and doing it in a way that's attractive and welcoming to people. The other big challenge is to design the infrastructure so that it isn't torn apart by the forces that are still acting on it.
Yeah.
I think we were really fortunate that the designers did what they did, and they designed them the way they did so that they're still there today.
Really, the driver on this project is the bridge conditions. There's been a lot of movement with the causeway, and it's caused the bridges to kind of shift a little bit. They're at a position now in their life where they need to be replaced. It's an expensive stretch with those 6 bridges. There's over 40,000 cars a day. There's sometimes up to 4,000 bikes a day. So it's a lot of people that use it. You know, what I see is I need to try to make a design that works for all these users.
I see a street that's really important to Madison, and I see something that's very visible.
I see what everybody else sees. I see a Capitol dome dominating the skyline. And you know what I say when I see that? I say, "Thank you, John Nolen." I learned that the reason Madison is a great city is because at critical junctures in our history, visionary men and women came to the front and said, "This is what we should do. This is the right thing." And that, in a single sentence, is why Madison is still a great town and why we should all care about its future.